Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode. For anyone listening last week, I know that I said I was going to buy myself a Christmas present, and that Christmas present was going to be a drum kit. Well, Christmas came early, and I now have a beautiful kit in my living room, taking up a lot of space, and I couldn't be happier. The best money I've spent in a long time. I was a bit intimidated going into the store and asking about it because I realised that when I go in there, they're like, what does she want? She looks posh and they don't really, do you want to help? They just don't really care. They probably just think I'm in there for, I don't know. Anyway, my brother went up to the guy and started asking about the drum kit, and then the guy was actually quite nice. And I got my kit and took it home, and I've smashed the shit out of it. And it has been so much fun. Very, very cathartic, I would say. I think anyone going through anything in life should have a drum kit or should go to one of those controlled places where you can smash the shit out of things. So cathartic. The best thing you can do. I don't know, I should have had one of those when Matthew died, honestly. I would have just gone absolutely fucking ham on those things. But yeah, I'm going to teach myself some covers. I've been practicing some beats, learning some stuff on YouTube, which has been really, really fun. I'd really like to meet some people in a band that can show me a thing or two. That would be fun. Or get some individual lessons, learn the sheet music and all of that stuff. But I've got a couple of things that I want to learn, a couple of covers that I really, really want to learn. And I definitely will be putting that up once I've done it and learned it to show you all, because I'm excited. So cool. Best thing I have done in a long time. Best money spent. Money well spent, happy. I also have I'm sort of going a bit over the top now. I really, really want to go and buy more musical instruments, which is not a bad thing, but it can pile up and it's a lot of space to be used in the house for that. And yes, I'm not opposed to learning new things and lots of learning new skills and things, but it's a lot. I want to get a cello, a violin. I saw an alien ukulele in the shop, cute little ukulele. Get a banjo, harmonica, electric guitar. Basically, it will be a one-man band. And it will be so much fun. Very, very loud, these drums, though. My neighbours will not be happy, but that is okay. I do not care. I'm going to have to start soundproofing the house. Oh dear. I really wanted to start to try and tick off some of those things that I've always wanted to do. I'm aware that I'm only getting older, and I say this a lot, and I know that I'm still young to a lot of people, but you never know what's around the corner. And that is always in the forefront of my mind. I just don't know what is going to happen. So I want to try and live intentionally and to try new things and to experience life to its fullest. It's important to me to be able to travel and see the world and just be free in living those experiences and immersing myself in different cultures. It's a privilege to do, an absolute privilege, but one I really, really want to. I can feel it inside of me. I've always been called to a couple of things. I've always had travel on my mind. Travel has always been there. I always think about it. I think about the experience that I've already had and how much I've gained from that and how much peace it brings me. being able to walk through streets in Europe or wherever I am, it's just, there's so much history there and I can feel it. And it's just magical. Like the architecture's stunning. Being in a different environment is amazing. Meeting new people and, you know, seeing the way that they live. It's just absolutely fascinating. And the landscapes are always just so different to where I've come from. And I'm in awe of them. You know, it doesn't have to be the most beautiful place, but I'm just in awe that, you know, that this is our world and people built this. It's stunning. Travel is a massive, massive thing that has always fueled my fire. And then the creative side, always wanting to do something creative, immersing myself in films. I am waiting to meet my match in films. If I meet another person and they can match my energy for, you know, directors and people that write the score and their editing and the cinematography and all of it, I would just be in heaven. I literally said this to my brother yesterday. I was just like, am I ever going to meet my match? Where are they? I talk to people about these things and they don't care. Or they're interested, but they're not as invested as I am. And yeah, so it's always been stories. I've actually started maybe a year ago, or maybe a year and a half ago. I had this concept for a film, and then I changed it to a book. I like the idea of it being a book because I can just put so much more detail in there, and the idea of having something that will live on forever is exciting. And it would be all mine. But I started to write that maybe, I would say, a year ago. And writing is incredibly hard. It's not for the faint of heart. It's time consuming and sometimes frustrating. Sometimes you're unable to describe exactly what you're thinking, like the story and how you see it flow. Well, for me anyway, because I'm not a writer. I didn't go to school and take literature or, you know, all of those things. I'm just doing it off the top of my head and learning from other people which have wrote books. But yeah, it's quite difficult, but I can see the story in my head. And to me, it's amazing. Ever changing. And when I mean that, I just adapt on what the story is and how I can enhance it and make it better and add more, just add more to make it more interesting, more little bits that are going to keep people captured and excited. So I don't really have a timeline, or maybe it would never even get published, but to be able to write that novel for myself would be amazing for me. And I don't really have any expectations on publishing, but yeah, just to be able to do that and try it. Honestly, it might just be complete shit. Might be complete shit, but it'll be my shit and I'll be proud of my shit. Oh dear. What else? I actually want to do an intro for this podcast. I'm thinking about, I wouldn't want to say composing music, but doing a little something or other. I'm not sure what it's going to be or what it's going to sound like yet. I want my brother to help me, but we'll see. That would be really cool to be able to make something of my own and do that. Lots of things going on, lots of ideas coming, and it's really exciting actually. It's nice to be able to get to a place where I'm so excited about things and I've got new ideas all the time, and to be also doing those things. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I feel like there's new beginnings on the horizon, and it makes me really excited for the future. Really, really excited for the future. Because you never know what's going to happen. Something extraordinary, something little could happen, and it could just change your life in such a massive way. You don't know who you'll meet along the way. And yeah, that's exciting. I look forward to those things. I've kind of decided that I've never been like a crazy stressor anyway. Like, I kind of just see what life is and I take it in my stride. I definitely was in a stressed state after losing Matt. And, you know, my health anxiety and stuff was completely exacerbated from that experience. But I just can't be asked to be stressed about things. What is it going to give me? It doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't help in any way. Like, real stress to me is somebody dying or something awful happening. That is just a stress that I cannot even comprehend or control. But like these outside stresses, like with work and relationships, I don't really take those on board and internalize them as much as a lot of people. I just don't see life that way. It's the way I choose not to see it. I think life is beautiful. I get to live another day. The sun's shining outside, even though it's astronomically hot in North Queensland and I'm off it. I'm grateful to be here. Oh my God. I cannot cope with this weather. And it's only, are we in November? It's only November. I regularly think about moving to the Highlands in Scotland, and I look at real estate there constantly. In middle of bumfuck nowhere, rural Scotland, and I think it would be a peaceful life, but I reckon it would just get way too fucking cold. Way too cold for me up there, but I definitely think about that. Maybe one day I'll own a holiday home there. Now that would be really cool. One that I don't have to pay for. If I could just pay for it outright and have a holiday home in Scotland, I'd be happy. If nobody's been there, I would definitely recommend. It's one of the most beautiful places you will ever get to go. Edinburgh, driving into Edinburgh was absolutely just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. This is one thing I love about England and Scotland, and the cobblestones and the architecture is just beautiful. I will bang on about this for ages. I will not stop, but it's just so, I'm enamored by it. I really am. And I was saying to my brother the other day that there's just so much there, so much history. And with young countries like Australia and even America, I find there's not as much as that. I haven't been to America, so I really shouldn't say, but yeah, it's just hasn't got that thing. And maybe I'm talking out of my arse, but that's what I feel like when I'm in these places. I've got a trip booked for next September, and I am so excited about it. It's going to be amazing. Me and one of my closest friends are going to go traveling around Europe, and I've also got a wedding in England, which is going to be amazing, and I'm just so looking forward to it. It's going to be a wonderful trip. I do get a little bit wary about traveling around Europe. Two women traveling around Europe, you have to be very, very careful because it's not the safest of places, but you just have to be careful and be aware. And yeah, the joys of being a woman. And I was thinking yesterday the amount of times, like just on the topic of being a woman, always having to watch your back, the amount of times that I just think someone that's going to walk into my garden and come to my French doors and there's just going to be a man there. I don't know what that is or why I think of that, but I always, if I'm in my room and my door's open, I'm always looking behind to see if there's someone behind me. Always. And I don't know if that's because there is a bit of crime here and people are stealing cars and whatnot, but I've always looking behind my back. Car park, going to my car, keys, aware. I would never ever wear my headphones at night. I would never go for a run at night anyway. Just, it would be silly, even with my dog. Oh my God, the actual prospect of my dog getting hurt to protect me is just so stressful. I can't even comprehend. But yeah, no, just all those little things that we have to go through. It's just hard. And I've also been thinking about the conversation around men and how they get demonized a lot. And there's a lot of vilification of man and what they don't do. And I haven't had that experience with men. They've always been, they would always put themselves in front of me or my friends to protect us. And I really just dislike this whole all men are awful and they need to learn. I don't think it's all men. It's some men, some obviously unwell people, and maybe people that are just psychotic or whatever the fuck they are. We need to stop labeling them as bad. They're our brothers. We should be lifting them up, telling them that they have a responsibility, they have a role, and they're our protectors. That's what they are. They're stronger than us, and they know it's their instinct to want to protect us. I just hate the demonization of it. I dislike a lot of things, actually. It irks me. And I think a lot of people go about things wrong and say a lot of unconscious things. They don't really think about what they're saying. I don't really agree with what a lot of people say. I think their idea of a thing isn't their own idea, and they've sort of screen grabbed it from somewhere else and they're regurgitating it without fully thinking about the thing, whatever it may be. It might be political, it might be some new sort of movement, it might be whatever it is. But sometimes I see people say things and they haven't researched it or looked into it or really understand the gravity of it. Or maybe they've just likened to that or stuck to that and they can only see it from their own perspective. They haven't decided to see it from another perspective. And I will always talk about perspective because it's important to see other sides of things. And I think that's interesting from the political standpoint. I have been watching for such a long time. I've been watching the whole race and watching the media and listening to news outlets and all of these things. And I have my own beliefs and views, and I think the right person won. And I was thinking to myself, maybe I am captured. Maybe I have been blindsided and maybe they have caught me, and maybe I'm just listening so much to one source of media and that's what's really brainwashed me into thinking I like this person to be president. And then I thought to myself, do other people ever think that way? Does anyone on the left ever think, maybe I've been captured? Maybe this ideology or whatever it is, maybe it's wiggled its way into my brain and that's the reason why I'm thinking this way. Like, I just don't... I'm completely okay with the fact that I could be wrong and that Donald Trump could be not great for the United States. But I don't think that to be true right now. And I think my opinion is valid. Everyone is supposed to have an opinion and should be interested in politics and is allowed to have... This is why we vote. There are different parties with different viewpoints and ideas and policies, and we get to vote for those each. That's just how it works. It's a democracy. And to vilify people for choosing one side over the other it's childish, number one, but it's also sad. Like, these young people really think that their rights have been taken away from them and that he is this awful person. And yeah, he's outlandish and he says stupid shit, but I'd much rather have someone who is themselves than someone who pretends to be someone they're not. I think this idea that we put these people on these pedestals and act like they're perfect and they've got the perfect life with the perfect wife and the perfect kids is silly. I'd rather someone just be honest and true, even if that is a bit bold and can be scary to some, but yeah, that's just what I prefer. I think we need to stop. We need to filter out all the smoke and mirrors and just see things for what they are. I much prefer that. They always like to paint a prettier picture than what it is in reality. They consistently try to manipulate us into believing what they want to believe. And I think we should all be more aware than that than ever. This election has really opened a lot of people's eyes, I think, just to everything. And I truly believe that Donald Trump could go down as one of the greatest presidents in the history of the United States. Truly. If he sets out what he's said he's going to do, 100%. 100%. And in 4 years' time, it will be a very different country and a very different world. That's my 2 cents from me on the political landscape of things. So who do we think is going to win this boxing match? Tyson or Paul? I would love Tyson to knock Jake Paul out, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Jake Paul will, he's younger. I reckon he'll end up knocking him down. And the fight will be stopped. Anything for entertainment these days, guys. Anything for entertainment. Crazy, I don't know. It seems all a bit Colosseum-like to me. I've got Gladiator on the brain. Just for entertainment, you know. I mean, I wonder how many people will be watching it live on Netflix. Also, a little bit frustrating that they're streaming through Netflix. Why can't I just go to the pub and watch the fights? I don't want to watch it at home. Or are the pubs going to be streaming Netflix? And really, really strange that they're adding that into their realm. I would much prefer them to stick to their shitty TV and just let the other streaming platforms take that one. But who am I? And then tomorrow we've got UFC and John Jones is fighting Stipe Miocic. I don't know how to say his last name. Miocic? Don't know how to say it, but I'm very excited for that. Should be a good fight. Hopefully. And then hopefully the winner fights Tom Aspinall, and I'm very excited for that as well. Do love the UFC. That's another thing that I could do. I could do some jiu-jitsu. I feel like my knees are sore though. Well, I don't feel like they are a bit sore. So I don't know if all that grappling, actually, I don't know. I changed my mind. I don't want to do it. If I was going to do anything, I think I'd do boxing. I don't think the jiu-jitsu would be... It's just bare feet everywhere. Oh dear. I am going to go and watch this bloody fight because I want to be entertained. Are you not entertained? I want to go and be entertained. Have a lovely week, everyone, and I will see you next week for some more ramblings of mine. Mwah.